My mom taught me to sell at a spaza shop. She ran a hair salon. I pretty much learned entrepreneurship from my mom's.
Umntu ngumntu ngabantu. That on your own, you can't really do it. You need the support of those around you.
You will have a network of people, a network of communities, and a society that will make sure that you count.
Seven o'clock on a Tuesday evening. It's always my privilege and slowly becoming my most favorite time of the week, and that is to welcome you to this evening's episode of Saita Straight Talk. In the Saita Straight Talk series that is powered by the South African Informal Traders Alliance, we focus on issues that are pertinent to the informal sector. And tonight, as I often say, is no different. Tonight, we will be talking about education and training in the informal sector. Does it work? Does it work long term? And as usual, I have a panel of specialists that joins me on this talk. I'm going to start off with the ladies first. Good evening, Yolanda, and welcome to Saita Straight Talk.
Good evening, Louise, and thank you so much for inviting me. Wow, this is quite an honor for me. Good evening, everybody. I am Yolanda van Dijk, and I head up human resources for Saita. I have been in the recruitment and training industry for the past 22 years, and really enjoyed it. Within Saita, there's quite a bit of focus in terms of training and development, and that's what I'm going to be talking about tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Yolanda. Next, I want to introduce Sisa. Sisa, good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Good evening, Louise. Thank you for having me here. I am Sisa Mtana. I'm from Uitenhage in the Eastern Cape. I am a skills development facilitator. I'm working with Saita in ensuring that we enforce and transfer a skill to those in need of. I come from a training background, a recruitment background. I'm an SME myself, and I enjoy transferring a skill, like I said.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sisa.
Thank you for having me here.
Our third panelist this evening is Mxolisi. Mxolisi, good evening and welcome to Saita Straight Talk.
Good evening, and thanks very much for the invitation. Much appreciated. And I think also I liked the intro video there. My name is Mxolisi Mapagela. I am responsible for research and innovation within wholesale and retail SETA, and part of what I'm responsible for is research and engagement with regard to SME, informal traders, and also big business within the SETA. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Mxolisi. So you said a very powerful word there, and it's the word research. So tell us more. I know that you've engaged and you've done a whole set of research. Do you want to just tell us what are some of the findings that stand out that are specific to the informal and small and medium enterprises?
Thank you very much. And just to also indicate that our research, we implement it on annual basis in line with the annual performance plan, and informed by what we call the research agenda. So the research agenda is basically a register of research topics which we aim to implement over a 5-year period. So with regard to some of the research outcomes recently in the last year and currently now, I'll just reflect in terms of some of the interesting findings relating to the labor market, informal traders, and also small businesses in general.
Okay.
So we've done, as part of the SSP engagements, we've done engagements around the labor market disruptions. As you recall that all businesses, big, small, large, have been disrupted. So we looked at priority skills interventions to implement to better respond to the labor market, and we looked at the priority areas in terms of the skills here. So at number one there we have ICT and digital literacy, food safety and hygiene for small and informal traders, very important also. And you cannot separate disruptions from issues relating to change management. Hence, change management is also reflected.
Mm.
Financial management of businesses, health and safety, leadership also came out there. And then we also looked at, because small and informal businesses are among the hardest hit if you look at COVID-19 disruptions, and also the recent economic disruptions in terms of the looting. Some of the type of support required in order to stimulate growth for small and informal traders are as follows: relaxation of stringent criteria for participation in skills development. We need more and more small and informal businesses to participate in skills development opportunities and initiatives. Number two, which is quick turnaround time of payments of SMEs. I think it cuts across, which is very important as part of ensuring sustainability and cash flow and operational effectiveness of these businesses. Access to market, which is very big, especially for those that have items, goods and services to provide to the sector and the economy, which is important to really to respond to issues of transformation, economic inclusive growth, economic growth, which is inclusive, and also at the long term also creating new jobs, as we all know that generally the labor market is bleeding jobs. The other issue with regard to SME and informal traders to stimulate growth, it's training on ICT trends across the sector. And also the last one there, it's access to business advice, because some businesses are not able to grow not because they're not making profits, or they're not located at the perfect business district. They might need business advice to make sure that they're able to access the labor markets. I mean, the access to the big markets, and yeah, and so forth. So I will pause there and allow you to pose further comments. Or I'm not sure in terms of time if I can continue.
No, please do continue. I already have a couple of things that I want to comment on, but I want to hear the entire story if you don't
Okay,
mind.
okay, okay. So I think also what informs how we engage with stakeholders, we also have what we call key informants interviews. With regard to key informants interviews, we allow businesses, employers to guide the agenda. For example, in the last engagements, we've had key informants interviews, and they advise us to focus on specific areas with regard to skills. For example, to promote sector readiness to respond to fourth IR. And you would have noted across the information that I've been sharing, fourth IR leadership, change management plays a very central role, because we live in very uncertain times with regard to the economy, the labor market, and so forth. To boost job creations, as you all aware that even before COVID-19 was declared a global pandemic, as an economy, as a country, we were building jobs. So we need to focus at initiatives that really boost job creations. The other issue which
Yeah.
is important, it's priority, and priority need to be put on soft skills to ensure that small and informal businesses are able to run their businesses effectively, so and become competitive. And they cannot really be competitive without the next issue here around digital functionality, which really will provide an opportunity to access other bigger markets that will also provide opportunities for growth. Okay, I just, with the last few points that I just want to indicate, I just want to touch on in terms of the other research outcomes with regard to new and emerging top-up skills needed to really ensure competitiveness and growth. The first one there is digital marketing, followed by data analytics. And at number 3, there we have technical skills to cope with digitalization, occupational health and safety, without any doubt, across all businesses is very important. Also, in terms of order of priority and importance there, followed by customer client relations, and also matters relating to e-learning and e-training. So those are some of the new and emerging skills that as a sector, as a SETA, we have to respond to and are responding to in terms of ensuring that businesses are provided with the necessary skills. So what I want to also share is that we also have what we call provincial skills plan. So what provincial skills plan will do will further elevate provincial skills demand and supply issues to further contribute to the strategic objectives of the sector and of the organization. And it will further ensure that we map out opportunities for partnerships, collaboration, and overall improve implementation. I will be in contact with colleagues sometime by end of this month to share a draft provincial skills plan, which will engage across all the 9 provinces to ensure that each provincial skills forum does have a voice. Small informal businesses and big business does have a voice in terms of how we should approach skills planning from a provincial context, dynamics, and outlook.
Yeah.
I just want to close by just sharing our strategic priority skills actions, and the priority skills actions are reflected in the sector skills plan, and we use the sector skills plan to draft our strategic plan and also annual performance plan, which we use to allocate resources. I will reflect all those that are relevant for this discussion. We have SME and informal trade, SME, informal traders, and corporate development as priority. We have youth unemployment, which is very important and a matter of national importance and emergency. We have also training and employment of people living with disability, stakeholder engagements, sessions such as this, and also the last one being sector transformation. I will leave it at there, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Mxolisi. You know, while you're talking, I cannot help but feel very positive about a lot of things that you've said. But I cannot help but think that what you've said fits in so beautifully with some of the other topics that we've covered here in Saita Straight Talk. And one of those are the R204 in terms of talking about taking the informal business into the formal sector. We had a chat about funding with the small business, the Department of Small Business Development. And then most recently, we had a conversation with a company about the triple BEE codes. And what you are saying, and from what I hear, training and development cannot live on its own, because we actually need all of these touch points in order to make sure that the informal trader has the best possible chance at survival. And I want to particularly stand still at the triple BEE codes, because with all of the training that's being done, if we as a sector do not have access to funding or to get those contracts from big business, it doesn't matter how much we know, because our skills will not be growing or be utilized if we are being ignored. So I don't know if you want to comment on that, but
Yep.
that's something that I want to just
Yep.
leave there.
Very important points you're raising, and I totally agree. And you'll note that countries with the lowest unemployment rate are doing so well. There's something so good that they are doing with regard to support and empowerment of SMEs and informal traders. It's a fact, and globally it's out there, everyone can see. So that's where we need to move in terms of ensuring that we better position ourselves as a sector and also as skills development institutions to ensure that how do we then ensure that small businesses and informal traders are able to access opportunities that are there available, and not just numbers in terms of opportunities, but opportunities that are impactful,
Yes.
opportunities that are aligned to a vision to say we need to see these type of businesses growing in future. It's about growth, sustainability, and if you've supported a business in 1 or 2 years, there should be a new person that they are hiring if that
Yeah.
business has really being supported and empowered. So that's very important. So as part of further to support what you are saying, and it's aligned to the research agenda that we are implementing this current financial year, we are also focusing on issues relating to transformation, but in the context of SMEs and informal traders, because it's important that whatever interventions and whatever programs that we are implementing impact, sustainability, return on investment, job creation. Those are the key words. So what this research transformation study on SME, micro enterprises and informal traders will do, it will create an opportunity for us as a sector and as a SITA to move towards developing what we call SME strategy that will use to guide us as a Bible. How do we then respond to issues relating to informal traders? How do we then respond to issues of SMEs, big business? Because we can't just treat everyone the same. They have all different challenges. But at the end of the day, we need to have sustainability, impact, job creation, and also transformation, access to market, which is also very important. Thank you.
Thank you, Mxolisi. I now want to take the conversation and bring it home to Saita. Yolanda, as the head of human resources, training obviously plays a huge part of us going forward and equipping informal traders to grow their business. Um, what platform did you use? How do you determine what the next steps are? You are muted. You are muted, Yolanda.
Apologies for that. So we had to start at the first phase, which is the needs analysis. In March, we embarked on this huge program, which is the needs analysis within Saita. Nationally, it was an amazing assessment that we did, and we had to start there because WNR CETA is one of our biggest partners that we are busy engaging in terms of training and development, and the response to this from informal traders was amazing. I mean, we could immediately identify, what the gaps were, and we could immediately start. And what Nicolisi just explained now is exactly what we found. The different types of training needed is what we identified, and we've actually since started. Like, for example, Facebook business training, WhatsApp business training. I mean, it had an amazing response, and I mean, between August and now, we've trained about 462 people nationally. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, for Saita, we've really embarked on something amazing. There are obviously next steps that we will be doing in terms of training. And these are soft skills. Let me just give you an example.
I was going to ask you, please expand on what soft skills are. I'm not an HR professional, but what do you consider soft skills? Because in my mind, a soft skill is a hug.
Oh, I can give you plenty of that, yes. but you know what? It's really about communication skills. You know, how you interact with your customers. Those type of soft skills is so important. You know, and I mean, it's things that we don't always think about, because your informal trader would really just think about, you know, where am I going to get my next plate of food? You know, so those type of things, and because we want to build the informal trader. You know, we want to basically put a puzzle together, you know, for them, performance manage that little business, you know, and add training to it. It is so important. I mean, basic banking skills, you know, how to
Financial management.
those type of basic things, you know, is so important to us. So those are the things that we embarked on. In terms of needs analysis and where we start and how we're going to take this journey further.
Yeah, so I can imagine out of the needs analysis, Yolanda, that the Facebook training is probably just a phase one to sort of get yourself settled in. And then there's obviously going to be a huge rollout across the 9 provinces.
Yes, most definitely. I mean, it doesn't end there. And I mean, we've really engaged a lot with WNR Saita in terms of submitting expression of interest. And they have had an amazing response to this. And if I can just give you an example in terms of our graduate and internship expression of interest that we've submitted to them. Wow. We will be engaging, and the program will be implemented soon, beginning of next year. And this is something big for Saita nationally. This is huge. I mean, to the type of programs that they want to. I mean, it's a 3 to 5 year program that they want us to be involved in. This is huge. This is really something very close to my heart. It gives me sleepless nights. And I absolutely love it. You know, I love the excitement within the informal sector. You know, that's happening right now.
Yeah, thank you, Yolanda. Sisa, now over to you.
Yes, ma'am.
You've got such a beautiful title, skills development. So tell me what it is, and tell me, what does the partnership between yourself and Saita, what does that mean for the broader sector?
Thank you so much for bringing that to my attention. You know, first of all, an aim for one to make a business is to get a profit, make a profit, and be able to survive. So the aim here is to enforce that business practices are followed, business practices are engraved into our minds, into our mindsets, so as to be able to reach that goal, so as to be able to make that profit, so as to be able to hire a next person who's unemployed, so as to be able to get funding, you know, and in an entrepreneur, funding is the keyword. Money is the keyword. Getting that rent extra is the keyword. Now, when it comes to skills development, we prepare and ensure that all the protocols are followed, all the rules are followed. We instill responsibility towards the informal trader. We instill being active, the activity, being able to go out and reach the goal. We instill being a leader, so as to be able to set your foot down, instill being initiative, come up with innovations, new ideas, how to go about changing into another altar, change management, as we would put it in HR. It's all about skills development is all about that. It's
So,
instilling that
so
ability.
yeah. Can you give me a practical example of how a trader would start off a business, or you would identify a trader, how you would go about deciding what their needs analysis is, and then what kind of training would they be put through, and what has been the success story? Because I mean, obviously, training is one of those areas where you give, but the trader needs to give back in order for it
Yes.
to be sustainable. So just take me through those processes.
Okay, firstly, as an SDF, you need to conduct a need analysis. That is also a skills audit. A skills audit identifies what we need. It gives us an outlet to see this certain group needs a training on financial management. This certain group needs training on communication skills. This certain group needs training on how to deal with people in general. That being said, the first point of contact is to get the whole group together, give them questionnaires, see what level of education or training they have. That will give you a guideline as to what you need to give out to a certain group. However, there are generic, methods or generic business skills that have to be transferred into people in general, so as to be able to conduct the business, so as to be able to deal with the public in general, so as to be able to put life, so as to put customer care as in a way of life. There are generic, guidelines that every trader instills within themselves. I don't know if I've covered enough of what you were saying.
There, I also do what Yolanda's just done. I speak when my mic is muted. Khaleesi, if you are able to respond to this question. So I know the WNR Saita, their specialist game is training, and making sure that skills development and things happen. And you've done all the research and you know what the needs are. But is there any research that goes back and says, was the training sustainable? Did the person that we invested the training in over 2 or so years, are they using what we've taught them, and have they gone and upskilled themselves from there? Does your research show that?
Thank you very much for the question. Yes, it does show that. So within the research agenda, we have a section that deals with impact tracer and evaluation studies there. The objective being that it's important that there be a return on investment in terms of all the interventions that we are implementing. And on annual basis, we do conduct through our APP, we do conduct impact studies. I'll give just 2 examples. We have done, which the report is final and we can make it public. And a tracer study looking at the beneficiaries of learnerships in the last 5 years, where they are within the labor market. Is the internship program responsive to the labor market? What do we need to do? How do we ensure that they are, if the objective was to make sure that they are employable, are they employable? Is there any articulation taking place within the labor market? Issues like that. We've also done the same, which is at the draft stage. on internships in this regard, looking at the objectives to say where they are within the labor market. So impact tracer evaluation studies are very important with regard are very
Avocado.
okay are very important to the SETA and us as a skills development authority. So we even this current financial year, we're going to be doing a comprehensive impact study on the beneficiaries of our bursaries, because it has been noted that there is quite a high dropout rate. So we need to then further evaluate to say why the high dropout rate. Then what are the interventions that we can implement to ensure that there is return on investment and also impact. So that's the brief that I can give with regard to other impact studies that we have done, and there is more of that. And I think I will leave it at
You
that.
know,
Thank you.
I want to play devil's advocate and ask you what I think is quite a difficult question, Polisi, and that is with this impact tracer, is this geared only towards tracing what happens to trading in the formal sector, or do you also trace what happens in the informal sector? And the reason why I'm asking that is that Saita endeavors to assist and empower every trader to make a success of their business so that each one can ultimately employ a person or persons. So does this training also take into account that the informal sector can also use people that you have trained or upskilled into their businesses? So is there a tracker for that as well?
Yeah. So the impact tracer evaluation is mainly on WNR CETA funded, whether
Yeah.
formal and informal. I'll
Okay.
give an example of a clothing bank project in Cape Town. We've done, I think, the first impact study, I think 3 or 4 years back. There's a group of beneficiaries that are now completing their program, mainly within small and informal business subsector. They'll be completing their program. I've started engagements with Lisa around an impact study. So it cuts across, and I think we have done a similar study previously when where we looked at because we do fund informal traders in terms of the training part of it, in terms of the training. So we also engage when we update the agenda. We engage the regional, the provincial managers, the senior managers within the SETA. They will need to advise us to say, of what we are funding, this is here, this is where we need impact impact tracer evaluation to take place, so to monitor the return on investment. So informal traders and SMEs are covered, as they are covered with regard to the research that we are doing. Thank you.
That's fabulous news. Thank you. Thank you for that. Sisa,
Yes.
Polisi also referred to the high dropout rate of students. And I mean, there's a particular interest there because it's money invested in terms of a bursary with somebody that you expect to finish a certain course. What has your experience been working particularly with the informal traders and small businesses around the youth particularly? I mean, we all often, I don't know if you're as guilty as I am, but we shake our heads at the youngsters and we say, gee whiz, they want everything so easily. But what is your experience been in doing the skills development?
To be honest, youth tend to be bored easily. They get bored easily. Initiatives like this tend to get tedious around them. They need a quick money making scheme or activity. Hence, what we do, we would try to make the programs as exciting as possible by giving them, lucrative endeavors, like awarding them for getting into the program, trying to make it as exciting as possible. Because let's face it, one needs to get employment. One needs to get a source of income and all. Hence, they get easily bored. It's an area that needs more attention so as to sustain, and keep up with the programs and get it to like, get it done as planned.
Yeah, yeah.
It is quite a challenge as well.
Yes. Yolanda, just as a from a Saita perspective, obviously also I would like you to touch on particularly our youth, and particularly our women. So what are the opportunities that, if you are a Saita member, for example, can somebody contact us and request certain training, or is there a database of provincial trainings that people can tap into? Surely there must be some sort of a benefit if I align myself to Saita.
Absolutely. Wow. If you become a member of Saita, the world is your oyster, in terms of training and development, in terms of recruitment, youth. I mean, we have a youth division. We will be embarking on a 1 million jobs program. This is something huge for us.
Just say that again. Just say that again a little bit louder. What are we embarking on?
1 million jobs is what we are embarking on. We're very excited about it. Louise, people need to watch this space. People need to watch the Saita space. We are very excited. There's so many plans happening. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be massive. And for women as well, training and development. I mean, I'm just thinking about what we did in August with Women's Month. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. In terms of, and the memberships that we just talking about. I mean, whenever we have our feedback sessions, the report back in terms of what we've done for women, how we have actually taken their business and taken them through that incubation process, and how training has become so important. Youth training has become so important. I mean, we are busy building a database that's going to be massive. So everybody needs to really just watch the space. I'm very excited about it. And wow, we really need to have another talk about what we're going to be busy with next.
Listen, you've piqued my interest with 1 million jobs, and I'm going to hold you to that. We're going to have another session. It's time for us to say goodbye. But Mkhulisi, are there some final words from you just to encourage the sector?
Well, thank you very much. I think importantly, thank you very much for the invite. I couldn't turn it down. Yeah, although management meeting and whatnot, I need to allocate time to this. It's a matter of national importance. And I will share some of the research reports that I have made reference to, and I think through one of the research that we'll be doing, you are within the category of key informants. So you will be notified as and when data collection is commencing, so that you can be able to provide comments and inputs which represent the informal traders. And yeah, thank you very much. I think let's carry on with the discussions, and thank you very much for the opportunity once more.
Thank you, Mkhulisi. Sisa, some final words from you.
I would like to encourage everyone involved to keep up the good work, to keep abreast, and remember the keywords. It's being responsible, active. We are leaders, very initiative, and let's get it done. Let's do it together. Together we can do it. And remember, nothing about us without us.
That's right. Yolanda, some final words from you. I don't know how you're going to top the 1 million jobs story, but the final word is yours.
You know what? I think that I must just repeat myself. 1 million jobs nationally. We are going to embark on this program. It's going to be exciting. People really need to become a member of Saita. People, this is going to be very exciting. We're going to be training for impact. We're going to be doing, in fact, we are already busy with incubation of traders, of informal traders. It's going to be very exciting.
That's motivation right there.
Yeah, thank you, Yolanda. And in the spirit of education and training, I have learned such a lot from our discussion here this evening. Please remember to like this video and share it in your networks as far and wide as possible. Yolanda's just dropped that little news clip. So if you're wanting to get involved in the informal trading sector, the Saita membership number is on the bottom of the screen. Make sure that you make contact and be part of the change. We can change the economy in South Africa. From me, Louise, thank you for tuning in tonight, and I'll see you on Thursday. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Bye-bye. Thank you.